Let me ask you something. Imagine you start saving and investing consistently. Every month you set aside money, you stay disciplined, you don't touch it. And then 1 year passes and you check your account and it's barely moved. You think, is this even working? Am I doing something wrong? Maybe I'm just not cut out for this wealth thing. So you either give up or you keep going, but with zero motivation because the numbers feel laughably small. Here's what nobody tells you though. That feeling, that frustrating, painfully slow feeling, is not a sign that something is broken. It's actually proof that something is working. You just can't see it yet. Because here's the truth about building wealth. It doesn't grow in a straight line. It grows in a curve. And the beginning of that curve is so flat, so boring, so unremarkable that most people quit right before the whole thing goes vertical. Today, we're going to talk about why wealth feels impossibly slow at first, and then suddenly feels like it's running on autopilot. And by the end of this video, you're going to look at your financial journey completely differently. Here's the biggest lie that kills most people's financial motivation. We grow up watching movies where someone goes from broke to rich in a montage. A few scenes of hard work, a little music, and boom, mansion, sports car, success. Social media makes it worse. You scroll and see a 24-year-old talking about their passive income portfolio, or someone bragging about how they turned $10,000 into $100,000 in 18 months. So subconsciously, we build this mental model of wealth. We think it's supposed to feel fast. It's supposed to feel exciting. And if it doesn't, we assume we're doing it wrong. This is called a linear expectation applied to an exponential process. And that mismatch between what we expect and how wealth actually works is the single biggest reason why most people never build real wealth. They're not bad with money. They're not unlucky. They're just measuring exponential growth with a ruler built for straight lines. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, so here's the simplest way to understand this. Imagine you plant a seed. Day 1, nothing. Day 7, nothing. Day 20, you're starting to think the seed is dead. And then somewhere around day 30, a tiny little sprout pokes through the soil. And over the next few weeks, that sprout quietly becomes a small plant. Still not impressive. Still not what you imagined.
You can cover it with your hand. But underground, the whole time, the root system is spreading. It's going wider and deeper. It's building the invisible foundation that will eventually support something enormous. Wealth works exactly like this. Now, let's make this concrete with numbers, because this is where people's jaws usually drop. Say you invest $500 a month, starting at age 25. You put it into a simple index fund that grows at an average of 8% per year. Year 1, you've put in $6,000. Your account has maybe $6,400. You've made $400. You're thinking, I gave up takeout for this? Year 5, you've put in $30,000. Your account has about $36,000. You've made $6,000 in growth. Still feels underwhelming. Year 10, you've put in $60,000. Your account is around $87,000. Okay, now you've made $27,000 just from growth. That's starting to feel a little more interesting. Year 20, you've put in $120,000. Your account, nearly $300,000. You've made almost $180,000. Money you never earned from a paycheck. Money that literally appeared because time did the work. Year 30, you put in $180,000 from your own pocket, but your account, over $700,000. More than $500,000. Created not by you, but by your money working for you, on top of itself over and over again. That's the curve. That's the shape of real wealth. And the critical insight here is this. The growth in the last 10 years of that journey is bigger than the growth of the first 20 years combined. So if you quit at year 5 because it's not working, you never see the explosion. You show up for all the boring parts and leave right before the movie gets good. But here's the thing. Understanding this mathematically and actually feeling it are two completely different experiences. And this is where human psychology makes building wealth brutally hard. Our brains are wired for immediate feedback. Think about how satisfying it is to eat a good meal. You're hungry, you eat, you feel better. Instantly. The feedback loop is tight and fast. But investing,
away today, and the reward is 20 years from now. Your brain doesn't know how to feel excited about that. It's too abstract, too distant. It literally registers as a loss in the short term. Psychologists call this hyperbolic discounting, the tendency for humans to prefer smaller rewards now
over larger rewards later. Your brain values $100 today more than $200 in 5 years, even though 200 is obviously more. This is why every instinct you have while building wealth is working against you. When markets go down, your brain screams, "Sell! Stop the bleeding!" When you see your friends spending money on vacations and new cars, your brain whispers, "Maybe they have the right idea." When your account balance feels small compared to how much effort you're putting in, your brain calculates, "This isn't worth it." Every single one of those thoughts is your psychology trying to pull you off the exponential curve and back into the flat zone of instant gratification. The wealthy people who figured this out, they didn't have better brains. They didn't have special discipline. They just found a way to stay on the curve long enough to feel it accelerate. And once you feel it accelerate, everything changes. Here's the deeper idea I want you to sit with. There's a concept in physics called escape velocity. It's the speed a rocket needs to reach to break free from Earth's gravitational pull. Below that speed, gravity wins and pulls it back down. But the moment the rocket crosses that threshold, it doesn't just go faster. It keeps going faster, all on its own, without needing more fuel. Financial escape velocity is the same thing. At some point in your wealth building journey, and this point is different for everyone, your money starts generating more returns than you could ever contribute manually. Your investments are growing faster than you can save. The compound interest becomes the engine, and you just sit in the passenger seat. But here's the brutal part. Every single person who reaches that moment had to survive the years before it. The years where the math didn't feel real. The years where the sacrifices felt pointless. The years where the account balance felt insulting. Think about it this way. A plane uses 80% of its total fuel during takeoff and the initial climb. 80%. Once it reaches cruising altitude, it barely uses anything in comparison. It just glides. Building wealth has the exact same structure. The beginning demands the most energy, the most sacrifice, the most faith, and gives you the least visible return. And then, once you reach your own cruising altitude, the whole thing becomes almost effortless. The problem is, nobody can tell you exactly when you'll hit that altitude. It depends on how much you invest, how consistently, and what return you get.
But one thing is absolutely certain. You will never reach it if you stop during the climb. So what do you actually do with this? First, change the way you measure progress. Most people measure wealth by their account balance. And in the early years, that number is discouraging by design. Instead, start measuring by habits and systems. Did you invest consistently this month? Did you increase your contribution, even by a small amount? Did you resist the urge to pull money out when things got scary? Those are the real metrics of early-stage wealth building. The balance will catch up. It always does. Second, use what psychologists call implementation intentions. Instead of saying, "I'll invest when I have extra money," set up automatic contributions that move money before you ever see it. This removes your emotional brain from the equation entirely. The money moves before you can feel the loss of it. Over time, you stop noticing it's gone, and it quietly becomes a fortune. Third, find a way to make the invisible visible. One of the most powerful things you can do is use a compound interest calculator and actually see your projected wealth at year 10, 20, 30. When your brain can visualize the endpoint, even roughly, it becomes dramatically easier to stay patient. You're not just saving money, you're building a specific future. That shift in framing changes everything. And fourth, protect your timeline above everything else. The biggest wealth killer isn't bad investments. It isn't market crashes. It's interruptions to compound interest. Pulling money out, stopping contributions for a year, starting over. Every time you break the curve, you lose time. And time is the only ingredient that is genuinely irreplaceable in this process. So here's where we land. Building wealth feels slow at first because it is slow at first. That's not a flaw in the system. That's the system working exactly the way it's supposed to.
The math doesn't care about your impatience. It doesn't reward urgency. It rewards patience, consistency, and time. The people who end up wealthy aren't the ones who found the fastest shortcut. They're the ones who stayed on the curve long enough to feel it bend upward. And here's the thought I want to leave you with. 10 years from now, you're going to be 10 years older no matter what. The question isn't whether time will pass. The question is, when you look at your account a decade from now, will you see the proof that you stayed on the curve, or will you see the cost of giving up during the climb? That decision is being made right now. Not in some dramatic moment, not in a crisis. It's being made in the quiet, boring, unglamorous months where nothing seems to be happening. But everything is. Stay on the curve. Don't forget to like and hit the bell icon to stay tuned. I will see you in the next one.